What is the dark secret of Dunwich? A group of scholars will discover that knowledge is a double-edged sword. The more you know, the closer you come to losing your mind. In the secluded, eerie town of Dunwich, Massachusetts, something unnatural is born into the world. Lavinia Whateley, a disfigured albino woman of questionable reputation, gives birth to a son, Wilbur. The father is unknown, and the whispers among the town's people suggest involvement in dark rituals and sorcery. From the moment of his birth, Wilbur is an aberration, possessing an unsettling aura that seems almost suffocating. His physical and mental growth accelerates at an unnerving rate, and he begins walking and talking before other children of his age could even stand. Wilbur's appearance is equally unsettling. His eyes hold an ageless wisdom, as if they've seen lifetimes that others could never fathom. The Whateley family, already considered outsiders, becomes even more isolated. Lavinia's father, Old Whateley, is a cryptic man known for his knowledge of occult practices. Together with Wilbur, they are frequently seen conducting strange rituals on their decrepit property, further alienating them from the community. A sense of dread pervades Dunwich, as livestock mysteriously begin to disappear, and eerie sounds emanate from the Whateley farm. People speak in hushed tones about the Whateleys, fearing the insidious aura that seems to cling to the family like a dark cloud. A sickening tension mounts when Old Whateley begins renovations on their dilapidated home, inexplicably adding extra rooms and fortifying the structure as if preparing for some catastrophic event. All the while, he makes frequent trips to out-of-town libraries, accumulating old, forbidden books filled with arcane knowledge. Old Whateley's health deteriorates, and he passes away, but not before imparting all his eldritch wisdom to Wilbur, who seems to bear the heavy burden effortlessly. The townsfolk are in a state of palpable unease, as though living on the edge of a dark abyss. The whispered tales of demonic pacts and sorcery are now discussed with frantic urgency, as the town senses the impending manifestation of something wholly unnatural and menacing. A feeling of faintness and despair pervades the atmosphere, as if reality itself were thinning, leaving the people of Dunwich in a collective state of fearful anticipation. Wilbur Whateley, now a grown man with an even more disconcerting demeanor, becomes desperate to access the locked Necronomicon in the Miskatonic University Library. This ancient tome holds eldritch secrets crucial to Wilbur's dark plans, secrets he cannot find in his own incomplete copy. He is denied access by Dr. Henry Armitage, the librarian, who suspects Wilbur's malevolent intentions. Wilbur's desperation peaks. Time is running out for a mysterious ritual he must complete, connected to an enigmatic entity that the Whateley family has been in league with. His subsequent break-in into the library ends in his death, as a guard dog attacks him. Upon his death, Wilbur's body undergoes a horrific transformation, revealing his non-human heritage. His grotesque form only adds to the looming dread. His anatomy is a disturbing blend of human, animal, and other, indefinable elements. Meanwhile, Dunwich itself starts experiencing even stranger phenomena. Invisible, monstrous entities roam the countryside, leaving traces of their unspeakable presence. Fields are trampled, livestock and pets are mutilated or vanish, and a lingering foul odor permeates the air. Panic spreads like wildfire as villagers link these disturbances to the Whateleys' dark activities. Dr. Armitage, along with Professors Warren Rice and Francis Morgan, starts to connect the dots. Armed with knowledge from the Necronomicon, they piece together the horrific truth. Wilbur had been attempting to summon cosmic entities that would allow for his monstrous family to rule the earth. Even worse, they realize Wilbur has a sibling, an invisible, horrifying entity that has been let loose upon the world. Armed with this dreadful knowledge and magical incantations, they head to Dunwich. The palpable sense of impending doom grows thicker, almost choking in its intensity. A feeling of utter despair and unreality hangs in the air as they prepare to face the monstrous entity, unsure if their academic expertise and arcane spells will be enough to combat a being of such unimaginable horror. Dr. Henry Armitage, Professor Warren Rice, and Professor Francis Morgan arrive in Dunwich fully armed with arcane spells, chemicals, and an unyielding resolve to halt the monstrous entity unleashed by the Whateleys. The atmosphere is laden with a foreboding sense of doom and terror, so thick that it almost stifles breath. While the entity's exact motives remain unknown, it's clear that it is searching for something related to the dark rituals that summoned it. The entity eventually seems to find what it's looking for atop Sentinel Hill, where its rampage ceases momentarily, leaving the villagers and scholars with a short but desperate window for action. This brief pause provides a much-needed but terrifying clarity. They must confront this entity before it completes its insidious objectives. The atmosphere is thick with an apocalyptic tension as the scholars ascend Sentinel Hill. Their hearts pound in their chests, not solely from the physical exertion but from the overwhelming weight of their mission. They arrive armed with arcane spells and a sense of finality, aware that they are the last line of defense against an evil that threatens not just Dunwich, but reality itself. As they reach the summit, the invisible entity becomes partially visible, its form a mind-bending, indescribable horror that defies the laws of physics and biology. The skies darken, and the wind carries whispers of otherworldly voices, incantations that seem to beckon from the depths of cosmic annihilation. Your mind reels at the sight, filled with a vertigo-inducing terror that borders on the surreal. Dr. Armitage, a once stalwart scholar, now a reluctant warrior, begins chanting spells of banishment, his voice quivering but resolute. The tension is unbearable, like the universe itself is teetering on a knife edge between salvation and eternal darkness. The entity roars, a sound so dreadful it seems to echo from the depths of an endless abyss as it fights against the incantations. Professor Rice and Professor Morgan join in the chanting, their voices uniting in a desperate plea to the cosmic forces that govern the balance between good and evil. Finally, in a moment that seems to stretch for an eternity, the entity shrieks in a pitch of unimaginable horror and implodes into nothingness, leaving behind a vacuum so profound it feels as though the world has exhaled for the first time in ages. The scholars are drained, both physically and emotionally, but there's a glimmer of triumph in their eyes. They've stared into the abyss and emerged victorious, but the experience leaves them forever changed, haunted by the knowledge of the terrors that lurk in the corners of reality, awaiting their chance to strike. Make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you can watch more videos like this. Thanks for watching.